Hi everyone, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on yet another episode of CPaaS with Comviva, our very own webinar series where we delve deeper into the world of CPaaS. My name is Desh, Chief Operating Officer at Comviva, your host for today. And joining us today, we have a very special guest, Nadir Patel, who is Director of Career and Mobile Services at Zain Omantel International. Welcome, Nadir. Welcome to our
Thank
webinar,
you.
CPaaS and how it is shaping customer experience in the digital age. Glad to have you on the call.
Thank you very much, Desh, and thank you everybody else for tuning in on this. It's my pleasure to be here. As Desh mentioned, my name is Nadir Patel. I'm the Director of Carrier Mobile Services in what we lovingly called as Zoe instead of getting into Zain Omantel International. Zain Omantel International is a new wholesale JV which was formed to take care of the entire wholesale business of the seven retail operations of Zain and in seven countries and Omantel, which is in Oman. So we are also transitioning and moving towards uh, a bigger and better company and hopefully a big powerhouse in the Middle East region.
Perfect, Nadir. Yeah, so all right then. We have an exciting agenda on our hands and a lot to learn from Nadir on his various experiences. So let's dive in. Um, so, in my view, in today's fast-paced business environment, communication is key, and CPaaS is a game changer. It's not just a tool; it's a strategic enabler for businesses seeking to enhance their communication capabilities. So, having said that, I would like to understand on what you feel about CPaaS and why it's gaining so much significance in today's communication landscape.
See, what you say is absolutely right, and we are seeing it happen in our markets locally here. The main driver, I think, for CPaaS is the emergence of the SME sector, which has started mushrooming all across the world, especially in the region, and partially because of the COVID impact also when people were at home or they lost jobs and they started doing their own small initiatives and businesses. And the fact that, as telcos also, we are looking at new startups, new businesses. So we have an Omantel Innovation Lab, for example, we have a Zain Innovation Lab, where we are nurturing new companies and new talents to come up. For them to have uh, the kind of communication channels which the bigger companies have is not feasible. They don't look at that on that avenue at all. They look at something where I can give me a single solution for or a single point of communication where I can then reach out to my customers in the way I want to, as many times as I want to, and like an omni-channel kind of a thing. So CPaaS is where this is where we see that the requirements started coming in more and more. Started in 2023, early 2023, and now we are seeing that the requirements are becoming demands. So it's a positive mode for us. So we are happy that it drives us also to move from just being a telco to the word that nowadays everybody uses, techco kind of a company.
Yep.
So this is where we see that CPaaS is not only supporting and evolving the B2B but also the telco companies.
Yeah. So, Nadir, I think you just delve a little bit into the point that what's the importance of CPaaS within the telco community, and what is telco's point of view in that space? Can you delve a little bit more into that space? Like you touched upon techco as
Sure.
well. So, can you delve a little bit deeper?
Sure. So, see, traditionally we've always been selling voice as a separate solution, uh, messaging as a separate solution, internet and emailing as a separate solution. Now we are also looking at, how can I give one single solution to my customers so that I don't need to have these multi channels and keep these different streams of technology running individually, and uh, then all the issues and challenges that come in. So, for example, we are also seeing now our customers in the region asking for Microsoft Teams calling. Microsoft, VoIP apps were always banned in the region. And when COVID hit, the regulators in the different countries, they opened those apps. Now people are used to using Microsoft Teams, for example. Our customers are saying that, can you provide this also as a solution to me? Because I'm hearing that in X country, this company has a Microsoft team calling embedded. within their own telecom solutions which they're providing. So this is something which is driving us as telcos also to think about this and look at feasible platforms and solutions where we can get these kind of services delivered on a single platform to our customers.
Okay, got it. So, while I mean, I see there are many avenues for focus on B2B for a telco, right? I think it's very clear that B2C business is either flattening and you can't assume the kind of growth that telcos have had because there is a level of saturation that has already reached in the B2C. So B2B is a very natural step, and there are
Yes.
many avenues that the telcos are looking. Great insight. Thanks, Nadir. Now, you know, I was looking at a report talking about importance of CX for today's enterprises. In 2010, there were only 20% of companies who were investing in CX initiatives. But in 2020, that number went up to 80%. And I think in today's age, if you're not focused on CX, you are out of business, right? So how do you see the investment in CX space in the Middle East market in general, and what's your view around customer experience in general? Yeah.
The trends that you're seeing globally are quite similar to what we are seeing in the Middle East region also. Customer experience has taken a very critical position in the company, in most of the telco companies. I can tell you in Omantel itself, there was a separate CX department created just to focus on what kind of touch points we should be having with the customers. And again, this customer experience or the CX is not just how happy or sad the customer is with our services. We just need a feedback from him. It is not that anymore. It is how can I interact with this customer? How can I create more interest from this particular customer to be able to ask me more questions, get more product information from me, get more service information from me, give me feedback about how good or bad I'm doing, or give me feedback about anything else that I can make sense, process the data internally, and then come up with a product or service for that particular customer. So we are looking at, now we have our own chatbot, we have our own application, we are driving people to move towards using the application, and we are seeing a good 70-80% conversion of customers who have downloaded our apps and they prefer to now interact on the app itself. So it is creating uh, a huge space for itself, the CX part of it. And again, like I said, it's not just about how happy or not happy you are with the services, but what else can we do for you? How else can we, provide you services? What other ways or what other avenues are you looking at? What is something missing that from our side that you need? So, and this is driving, for example, we are also now tying up with various OTT applications, travel applications, with hotel looking applications, and bringing it all together for the customer, saying that if you come on my app, you can go and book a ticket now. If you want a plane ticket, you can book a hotel, which telcos never thought of that. So we were always like, if my app is there, it's just about the bill information and that's about it. But no, things are changing now.
Absolutely. I think the world is evolving, and many different forms and newer forms of opportunities which are emerging, and it is for us to grab it. Very well put, Nadir. Now, building on the same thought and coming back to our theme of CPaaS, how do you see the role of CPaaS evolving to meet communication needs from a customer experience perspective? So, if you were to
See,
link the two worlds of CX as an enterprise requirement and CPaaS playing a role, um, yeah.
see, the more and more interactions that we are able to create for the B2B, or the more and more avenues of interactions that we are able to create for the B2B customers as telcos or as CPaaS platform providers, the engagement with the customer will increase, or the end customer will increase for the B2B customer. When the engagement with the end customer increases, the customer experience also goes up to a certain extent, where they feel that people are looking at my requirements. Somebody is there to listen to me. Somebody is there to work out on my solution, on my problems, give me some solutions, give me some new innovative offering. So the the evolution of CPaaS and the way we have seen it is happening now. So we were always doing messaging, and now we have to start offering WhatsApp for business also within the same domain of communication. Emails has always been in the picture, but now they are saying, why don't you link that? So when I trigger a requirement, or when I trigger a communication to my customer on a WhatsApp, I would also like to send him an email confirmation, just for him to be assured that this is me talking to my customer and not somebody else coming into that picture. So we are seeing, and we do feel that the evolution of CPaaS will drive customer experience further up.
Absolutely. And plus, like you said earlier, that there are many avenues of different channels being used by the customers. And as enterprise, whether it is Omantel considering themselves as enterprise or enabling other enterprises, you have to be able to be available across those channels at the time when the consumer wants to use it. So,
Exactly.
as the customer becomes more and more demanding, it's very difficult to keep the CSAT scores high, right? So, what considerations should businesses keep in mind to maintain a high level of CSAT as they expand their operations?
See, I believe that, and a lot of people also discuss that it's getting too complex now. You know, CPaaS also is developing into a very complex solution. The way to improve your CSAT is to make it simple. So within the complexity, we have to find a simplicity to be able to address the customer, what his exact needs and requirements are. The second point where I think is to be more innovative. How can we, as a CPaaS provider, or as a B2B provider, or as a telco who's enabling B2B, or as you rightly said, we are also into the B2B or B2C business, how can we be more innovative within those CPaaS offerings? Like, for example, as we were just talking about, a particular message needs to go out as a SMS or as an email or as a WhatsApp. How do we decide that, and how do we, you know, place it within the customer's mindset? I wouldn't want to receive a WhatsApp in the middle of the night when I'm sleeping about an offer. I don't mind receiving an email for that, or I don't mind receiving an SMS early in the morning or later in the day. But I don't want to receive a WhatsApp message that I have an offer when I'm sleeping in the middle of the night. So innovation is something which we look at, and the influx of AI that is going around now, or generative AI, as we are talking about. When I log into my app, or when I log into my CPaaS solution, it has to be it's if it says, hi Nadir, how are you doing? Or it gives me something, reminds me something about, oh, you have a birthday coming up, or you have some appointments coming up. It makes a big difference in that perspective. And in this life that we are living, everything has now come to the handset. We don't remember each other's numbers anymore. We don't even remember some of our birth dates anymore. How can we get that involved into it? From the business perspective, if the business knows, if the bank with whom you're banking knows that on so and so date is your birthday, or so and so date is your a wedding anniversary, and they send you a message, or they send you an offer or something like that, you just feel nice and special about it, right? That, okay, these
Absolutely.
guys, yeah, these guys consider, and these guys know that it's my birthday or it's my anniversary, and they're giving me some 5%, 10% discount. You may not take it because you may have different plans, but it
Yeah.
still makes a big difference.
Yeah, you want to feel that you are being taken care, and
Yes.
that's where hyper personalization and contextual communication, right, is very, very critical.
Important.
And that's where AI and Gen AI can help you do it at scale when you're dealing with millions of customers.
Yes.
So, you touched about AI and wanted to check with you that how is technologies like IoT, AI, and even augmented reality shaping the future in the context of, and convergence with CPaaS?
See, we are even here within the region, we are looking at augmented reality in terms of developing new products and services. As an example, there is a There is a company that is working within our innovation labs, which is giving a real life experience to people for to visit Oman. So people hear a lot about Oman. They say, "Oh, we've heard, there's a country somewhere near UAE and Saudi Arabia, but we've heard it's really beautiful." So we have a company that is developing a real life experience where you can actually experience the thrill of jumping into a wadi, which is a valley with a lake from the top of the mountain, or you can experience actually being snorkeling down, or diving into the sea, because Oman has a good diving spot where you can swim with the turtles. You can see the whales that are there, the dolphins which are around there. So this creates a good interest or a good feeler to the person. You may see it on YouTube, or you may see it on anybody else's videos or cameras, but when you experience it as a virtual reality through the virtual reality mode, you feel that this is something which looks interesting, and then you
Absolutely.
decide, okay,
You
let me
know,
go and yes,
some of the landscapes that Oman has, I think, once you are there, you can't believe that you are in GCC, right?
exactly,
It's absolutely unbelievable. Especially, I love Salala and all the beauty that
exactly,
it has.
exactly. So the Ministry of Tourism also is very interested in that, because it helps them to promote the country, the tourism, and to bring in more and more people. And this can be achieved because of uh, the entire ecosystem that is being created by telcos and by the vendors, where a customer sitting anywhere in the world can get this feeler and then make a decision. Okay, let me go and take a holiday to Oman and see how it goes. So
Hmm.
I feel that this is creating a very big impact in terms of how we are going to conduct our business in the future.
Fantastic. I think those are some very interesting use cases for a telco and a giant like Omantel Zain to be, looking at. I think absolutely fascinating. So since we are talking about different technologies and AI and a lot of data that telco has, right? It's a perfect point to talk about security, right? And what are the security concerns that a telco has to deal with? So how do you feel CPaaS can ensure data privacy and compliance when you're dealing with enterprise data and you have so many regulatory constraints to also work with, um, right?
Yeah, see, there has always been a challenge for telcos when it comes to data security and privacy. So the regulators are always breathing on our necks. They are right behind our shoulders, looking at where we are storing the data, where we are processing the data, which sources we are collecting the data. Are we even authorized to collect the data? It is the regulations behind it and the compliance behind it is quite stringent. So one of the requirements that is there prevailing across the Middle East is that any CPaaS solution you want to host, any kind of solutions you want to host, it has to be deployed locally. Now, most of the times it may not be possible to deploy locally, but then we do find ways and means, and we do negotiate with the regulator and the other bodies, saying that even if the processing is not local, the data of the customer remains locally. We just process it and it comes back to us on a secured line. And everything is managed here domestically. There's nothing that goes out of the country at all. So you have to find ways and means to convince your regulator and to convince your
So
uh,
Nadir,
other
sorry to
agencies.
interrupt, but I think
Yeah.
there is a very, very important point. Like if you look at most of the CPaaS players, global CPaaS players, either they are American companies, Europeans
Yes.
who are ruling, and a lot of data for banks, government agencies, when they use such platforms, have to go out. And that's where I think
Yes.
telcos can play a big role by giving that assurity, that guarantee, that trust of data security and the secure connection, right, between the banks, governments,
Yes.
and other enterprises who are driving the maximum traffic in a particular country, right? So thereby providing that security and trust that's needed. So I think telcos can play a huge role in differentiator compared to some of the global CPaaS players.
Yes, definitely, and we are doing that. So of course, as Omantel and as Zain Omantel International, so we invest in data centers. So we have data centers located in the most of the countries where we are operating, and we try and host as much content as we can locally. So you have even the Googles and the Amazons who are today present in Oman. So this gives an assurance to the regulators also, and to the other security agencies also, that at any point in time, if you need to check anything, or if you need to be, if you need to get into some details, the data is available at an arm's length. It's just right here in our backyard. And as I said, when these guys come into the country and they host themselves in the data centers in our locations, then they prefer to process the data also locally, because it saves them also all the hassle to have a pipe which goes back to their central database servers and then start generating from there. They replicate the same situation here in the country, and then they are able to take care of the customer and also of the regulations and security concerns.
Got it. Got it. Perfect. I think that security is one of the major factors when an enterprise is looking at a CPaaS provider, and
True.
I think it's good. So now, since coming back to the theme for today, which is customer experience, are there any success stories that you can share where CPaaS has demonstrated exceptional value in enhancing customer experience? Any instance that you can share with us? Any case studies?
See, we have something which was initiated within Omantel, as far as getting customer experience or customer feedback for certain products and services or certain promotions that we ran. So, of course, I'm not the best person to be explaining this in detail, because we have, like I said, we have a customer experience department that works onto it. But this is a topic that was very close to us, because I'm in the wholesale business and we do the roaming, international roaming. So we always used to have issues from customers saying that when we went to this country, we were not able to make calls, or we didn't receive SMSs, or the data speed was very poor. Now, unfortunately, these complaints come to you when the customer comes back. When he's back in the country, then he makes a complaint about it. By that time, it is too late, because we can't do anything about it now, right? He's left the country. We don't know what was wrong. On Our customer experience team worked on this particular pain point, and they figured out that within the app they give a zero rated data data units to the customer, who can make a complaint or who can raise an issue that I'm facing a problem right now when I'm in this particular country. In that case, what happens is that he's not being charged for his data, so he's quite comfortable saying that, okay, I'm not paying anything out of my pocket for this, and he shouldn't be paying out of his pocket for this, because he has a complaint, right? He's an irate customer. He wants to vent that I'm not able to make a call, or when I'm not able to receive an SMS when I'm roaming, or whatever it is. So they started this initiative during the peak roaming season, when we have when a lot of customers go outbound, and they got good feedbacks. And we were surprised that if there were 50 complaints, there were 50 appreciations also, which came through the same channel, where customers said that, I'm having a very good experience. I'm in this particular country and I'm having a very good experience, and thanks, kind of a thing. So we saw that, and this was just out of the blue that these guys came out with and said, let's try this, how it works. And this is something which was shared internally with all of us, and we were one of the stakeholders, and we were happy to see that when you enabled the customer, or when you gave him an opportunity, and you gave him the opportunity at the right time to speak about it, they were quite vocal about it, and they took it into their stride, and they gave us feedback and comments, whether positive, whether negative, whatever. It was, everything is considered as a positive feedback for us, because we need to improve then in that case. So this is one of the experiences that we've had
Fantastic.
in
I
deploying.
mean, yeah,
Yes.
so listening, I think it all starts with listening to the customer of what their
Yes.
experience is and solving that real life problem that they have. And
Yeah.
that is all about customer experience, right? It's not about fancy,
Yes.
jazzy application, but you need to solve
Yeah.
the real problems of the customer. And this is a great example
Exactly.
of how, and it is about that omni-channel experience, saying You open up that channel in roaming, that channel is not available, the user is struggling, and by zero rating, you enable the
Yes.
customer to continue the communication and be able to listen to them and solve it. Great example. So on that note, do you wish to highlight key strategies or best practices businesses can adopt to address complexities associated with integrating CPaaS into the existing infra? So from a telco perspective and any enterprise perspective, how they can reduce that complexity of integrating CPaaS. Any thoughts on that?
See, one of the things is choosing a right partner. That is very important. As telcos, we know that, or we are aware that we don't have the capability to create a C plus platform on our own. So having a right partner in place is very important. Someone who is invested not only in his business but also in our business, and who is willing to keep on innovating and you know creating new and wow factors within the platform that is there, because people are changing, right? The environment is dynamic. I mean, the sometimes the customer requirements and the customer expectations are so vivid, you just wonder that, how did I miss this kind of a thing, that the customer would have also wanted something like what he's asking of me from right now. So choosing or having a right partner is very important. Being aware that you have to invest in this. You cannot uh, come up with a very poor investment plan saying that I'm not going to put in money in this, but I want the best of the services or the best of the thing that I can get from my customer. As telcos, or as any other company or B2B company also who wants to work on having the CPaaS as a platform and target the CX, we have to be ready to invest in it. Because if you don't put in that money and the time and the effort also, by the way, you will never achieve what you are planning to achieve. And we will always end up with a substandard offering or a substandard product or something that you kicked off and then it never got completed. We have seen a lot of cases where projects were taken up in the CPaaS domain or in the CX domain, and they were never completed. Or somehow they were able to push and finish it off, but then the outcome that was expected of it was never realized. So these are bad investments, right? You did put in the money and you didn't get the benefit out of it. So two things. One is, having the right partner ready to invest. And when I say invest, again, it's not just money, it's time and effort, and the patience to listen to what your customers actually need. So these are critical, I think, driving factors when it comes to
Got it. Got it.
the investments here.
Thanks, Nadir. I think we have asked you a lot of questions and you patiently answered all of them. So thanks a lot. But before we let you go, right? The last question that I have for you is what will be your top three predictions for 2024 in the realm of CPaaS?
The one number one prediction that comes in my mind is more and more usage of generative AI. I think customers are looking at getting more real life kind of experiences, getting more innovative uh, experiences, and to see, feel, look, everything when they're sitting in their workstation or at their home with the technology at hand. That is one thing that will definitely support, and that is something where CPaaS expansion or the CPaaS investment needs to look into as a CPaaS provider or as a telco. The second thing I would look at is the growth in the APIs or the network APIs that is happening as of now. It is getting much more easier in terms of API integrations and API configurations than it was in the past when it comes to delivery of services or any other things that are happening. GSM is working on this. They have this one open network Kamara project which is ongoing. As Omantel, we are part of that also. We've developed 10 APIs last year, which we are now in the proof of concept stage with our customers locally. for from the communication point of view also, and also from other services point of view. So that is another thing which is, I think, coming up. And the channel strategies from the B2B and the telco providers. What is our strategy in terms of which kind of channel we want to use to engage the customer, or what kind of experiences we want to give the customer? Should we go the traditional channel of still having the brick and mortar sales centers? Can we look at moving some of it into the uh, application based uh, application based, or we also look at generative AI, where you get the look and feel that you walked into a sales center and you actually got your problem resolved. So these are the three key predictions which I'm seeing for 2024 as far as CPaaS growth is concerned.
Absolutely agreed. I think all three great domains and areas which are exploding right now. So really, but there is also a little bit of speculation in terms of in what direction and how fast it will grow, how fast operators will be able to accept it and get monetize it, most importantly. So those questions remain, but there is going to be great interest in 2024 in all three areas. So thanks for those insights. Nadir, thank you so much for your expertise and
Welcome. My
insights.
pleasure.
Before we part ways, I want to extend our gratitude from entire Comviva team for taking your time and being part of this session. I think your presence has truly elevated our discussion and the entire webinar series that we are trying to conduct here. To the audience, I would say if you have any questions about CPaaS, feel free to write to us on our social media handles. We'll really love to hear from you. And stay tuned for our next webinar just around the corner on an interesting topic with another expert. Thank you once again for being with us. Until next time, take care and stay connected. Thank you. Thanks, Nadir.
Thank you, Desh. Thanks a lot. Thank you for having me here.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks. Take care. Bye bye.